Welcome to MarcusG.tv. I'm Chef Marcus Guiliano, and I'm a chef on a mission. Today's mission is health. Fish specifically. A lot of people love to eat fish. Number 4, Atlantic salmon. Whether wild caught or farmed, Atlantic salmon is a poor choice of fish. So they're saying whether it's farmed or wild Atlantic. Yes, there is a such thing as wild Atlantic salmon, but the population is so low that you don't fish it because, well, let me finish reading this because I think they're going to say this in here. Ironically, salmon farms are polluting wild salmon populations, which I mentioned that in number 3 in the catfish when I talked about farming. The farmed fish escape and compete with the wild species for food, and the copious amounts of antibiotics and pesticides used in salmon farming flow out into the environment. This all adds up to an endangered wild population and contaminated farmed salmon. In fact, if you see any fish labeled Atlantic salmon, it is farm raised, and the conditions on such farms are deplorable. Hence the use of antibiotics, pesticides to control the disease and inherent in crowded conditions. Now, a lot of menus say organic salmon, they say Loch Duhart salmon, they say Faroe Island salmon raised in the wild. People, if it's farmed salmon, just avoid it. These salmon farms are good advertisers. They're into marketing. They know what to say. They know the buzzwords. The bottom line is these places still have disease outbreaks. It's hard to put that many fish in that close of proximity and lock them in a pen and say you're not going to get any disease. It's just inherent with how farmed salmon is done. And you go to their website and say, oh, we're in this great part of the world where we get fresh water flowing through and this and that. The fish still go to the bathroom in there. They still go to the bathroom, and all that fecal matter goes from one fish to another as it falls down in the pens. And that all falls to the bottom of the ocean, and there's like these whole dead zones in the bottom of these bays because you can't do anything. And the excrement, the salmon excrement in some of these places is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 meters deep. There's nothing that can live in some of these salmon farms for 1 mile, 2 miles past the salmon farm boundaries because of all the fecal matter going into the ocean. The salmon are living in this. They're getting diseases. I don't care what the best salmon farm in the country and the world is telling you, how sustainable they are and this and that. They're getting sustainability nods because they're doing one thing or two things, but it's still farmed salmon. Verlasso salmon out of Chile, they say they're sustainable. They were the first ones that Monterey Bay Aquarium said, yo, you're a better choice, because they were serving the fish genetically modified fungus as a food. Genetically modified fungus considers them sustainable because they don't have to go out and get wild stocks of fish to feed salmon. See, one of the biggest problems with salmon to begin with, farm salmon, it takes like 3 pounds of wild harvested fish to make 1 pound of salmon. So you're creating a protein deficiency in the ocean. So Verlasso figured out, we're not going to go to the ocean for our food. We're going to go to the laboratory. We're going to go to Frankenfoods. We're going to go to genetically modified funguses, and we're going to grow that and mix that with soy or corn or whatever they're mixing it with. I doubt it's 100% this fungus. They're probably using a buffer like soy, which is cheap, and that's what they're serving. And it could be GMO soy. It could be soy that's sprayed with pesticides. I don't know. I'd have to read their website again and ask them questions personally. But these are all the questions that I would ask. So when you go into a fishmonger, into a store, and they're saying, oh, farm salmon, nothing's wrong with it, just say, I'll wait for the wild salmon. Please, where's your wild salmon at? Wild salmon has a short season. It's in season from May to October-ish. There are some catchings in the wintertime, but not many. The catch numbers fall way down, and restaurants get them first, or high-end consumers that are willing to pay the money get it first before we'd ever go to a place like ShopRite or Safeway. So another good let's see what the good choices are. Or actually, an alarming solution to such a problem with the engineering of genetically modified salmon. So salmon can also be genetically modified now as well. That's on the approval docs, and I believe it's illegal in Canada maybe, which is currently be sold without any labeling to inform the consumer of their GMO choices. Yes, you can eat GMO salmon that's been genetically modified, and you have no idea because you don't have to have it labeled. Years ago, they were doing genetically modified king salmon, Chinook salmon, and they had to abort the project because the fish heads were being displaced on the fish. They were in a totally different spot where the head's supposed to be. And from what I hear, this new genetically farmed Atlantic salmon to say some of the same things are happening to this fish. The body parts aren't where they're supposed to be. And people, you are eating that, but you're not looking at a salmon with a disformed head or the head on the side of the body. You're just looking at the fillet in the container, in the case, and all of a sudden the fishmonger's like, oh, look at this great salmon we have. It's so fresh, right? Wrong. It's fresh, but it's contaminated. Wild Alaskan salmon is currently a good choice for this bone-healthy fish. So they're saying wild Alaskan salmon is the substitute. And I also want to add in there Arctic char is a good substitute. Arctic char being farm-raised in closed containment systems in the colder parts of the northern climate, northern Canada. So that is a very good choice. Arctic char. Arctic char. Looks like salmon, much, much smaller, and really, really good. I'm Chef Marcus Guiliano. Thanks for watching. If you like my videos, please hit like, subscribe to my channel, and definitely pass this on.